And you're gonna get on that bike. No more smack. No more self-pity. We got a job to do. You want to fill that dark hole, and you fill it with rage and revenge. And in the end, you unleash it on your enemy with all the fury you can. But at least you'll be doing it for something. Are we clear?
Yeah! And I've set up and tore down this stage with my own two hands. We've traveled this land, packed tight in minivans. And all this for the fans, girls, money, and fame. I played their game and had to scream my name. I will show no shame. I live and die for this. And if I come off soft,
you want to deal? Deal with this.
Devil without a cause. And I'm back with the beaver hats and Ben Davis slacks. 30-pack of stroll, 30-pack of hoes. No Rogaine in the propane flows. The chosen one, I'm the living proof. With the gift to gab from the city of truth. I jabbed and stabbed and knocked critics back. And I did not stop.
What up, what up? It's your boy, Mr. Skrilltown himself, a.k.a. Mr. Fetty Skrills. Welcome to Skrilltown Talk. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but our man, American Badass, Chuck Wagner, is on the line. We just need to get a couple things situated, and we will have this interview up and running. Looks like he's getting everything together. But in the meantime, stay tuned. I'm going to play a couple promos, and then we will be on and popping.
Je rêve de toi, encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi, encore une fois, rien que tes pas, juste pour moi. Pour toi, toi et moi, on s'envole là-bas, donne-moi. Encore une fois, je rêve de toi. Encore une fois, rien que c'est pas juste pour moi. Je rêve de toi. Encore.
All right. That was Je rêve de toi by Daffy Duck. That video has been out about roughly 3 to 4 weeks now, and it's doing real well. 13,000 views thus far and going. Check it out on YouTube. Go to the Skrilltown MO Vivo channel and check that out. Like I said, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but he is on the line. So stay tuned. We are going to get the American Badass Chuck Wagner, actor, filmmaker, stuntman on the line. So just stay tuned.
Drop out in my prime like Amazon Pay. Netflix and chillin' got me thinking about you all day. You saying he's your best friend, someone to text friend. Soon as I become your ex, he'll become the sex friend. Don't make yourself look less than playing these silly games. Instead of speaking the truth, you repeating lies to my face like
I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. Best friend. I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. Best friend. I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. Best friend. I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. Best friend. I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. Best friend. I know that you've been saying he's your best friend. Best friend. I know that you've been saying.
All right. So let's see if we got Mr. Chuck Wagner on the line. Chuck, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you, finally.
All right, we are live and in living color. What's going on, my brother?
Not much. I'm glad to be here, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. It looked like he just cut off. So he will be back on shortly. But let me just read the bio on Chuck. So, born in the murder capital of the United States, Chuck Wagner often mixes his real life experiences into surreal world of film. Hold on one second. There he is.
All right, let me try this technical stuff.
All right.
I ain't that good at it.
That's all right. I'm gonna read your bio while you fix everything up. Okay.
All right.
All right, you good to go?
There you go.
All right. So true gang life was a reality in the Chicago neighborhood of Inglewood and in the subsequent places Wagner lived. His first encounter with acting was in the movie Backdraft, written and produced by Ron Howard and starring Robert De Niro. His work as an actor progressed for the next 6 years until he secured a regular role as a doctor on the television series Chicago Hope. Unfortunately, soon after the show was canceled. When Prison Break burst into television in 2005, Wagner went on to work on the series first as an extra, then as a stand-in, then a photo double for Dominic Purcell, known as Lincoln, and then in the role of presidential Secret Service agent. Because of his past and his physical appearance, Wagner takes a special interest in gangster roles. Having experienced life on just about every conceivable side of the fence, Wagner can certainly be likened to the seasoned hero he'll be portraying. It may be a little known fact that Wagner has a strong will to make a difference in lives of others, and he has an even stronger devotion of God. So we have on the line Chuck Wagner, man. So, like I said, hey, we got all the technical difficulties out the way, man. I'm excited for this opportunity. Tell me something good, my brother.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited to be on something that has to do with music. I do a lot of TV stuff, but incredibly, a lot of the things I've been involved in have been music videos, rappers. I was in an R. Kelly video, not that kind of video.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle does not know me.
Right.
I was in Trapped in the Closet 21.
Wow.
And that was a trip. And I was also had a brief cameo in a DMX video. And I was at Fat Joe and Ja Rule did New York. I was in New York at the time. I was in the crowd. I didn't get on camera, but I saw the boys there. And, I got all these guys that got problems.
Yeah, I see that. I see, man. I don't know. Should I be doing this interview
DMX.
right now?
Yeah,
I don't want no
especially
problem.
R. Kelly. I mean, I don't even play with that.
Yeah, man. Well, no doubt, man. It looks like you've done a lot, man. I was checking out your IMDb, man. And if people don't know, hey, that's where the legit actors and, entertainers, that's where they're at. And, man, I had to shorten down the bio as best as I could because he had a lot of stuff going on in there. So, so you grew up in the rough streets of Chicago. So tell us about how you transitioned into acting in the entertainment business.
Chicago is it's a great place for food and theater and a lot of stuff. And I grew up in a middle class family, but still went to Catholic schools and everything, but still got pulled in by the gang stuff. And luckily got out for a little bit, but got back in. My son was brought into the gangs at 12. Everybody I know was involved in gangs, and that's the way it is. My ex-father-in-law was a diplomat from Cuba. Sounds like Scarface.
Yeah.
He got arrested with $14 million worth of cocaine. And when he got arrested, he told them he worked for the CIA, and they didn't believe him. Carl Valdez Esqui. This was a guy that worked on Rush Street in Chicago with all the mafia guys. So everything that I've done comes from when I was in love at 18 years old. And so I kind of got caught up in it by accident and not knowing what was going on. If you run around and drop something off and he gives you $50, you don't know what's in it. You don't look.
Right.
And but I got to know Frank Calabrese, the head of the outfit. And I met a lot of people. And so, it's easy to get steered in the wrong direction when it's everywhere around you.
Yeah,
I'm not proud of it. My wife and I both work in a church. She says I glorify it. I'm just telling it. I'm just telling the story. I hang around with a Chihuahua and a bunch of church ladies. So,
that's what OGs do, man. That's what y'all do.
OGs are cool. The church ladies are a little rough.
Hey, if OGs can retire, that's what they gonna do. They gonna have a Chihuahua or something like that, a Shih Tzu or something hanging out with them, So yeah, that's what it's all about. Because gangsters don't retire,
I
man.
had no choice about retiring. That
I
I
bet.
caught some cases and got in some trouble, and by the grace of God, I got out, and it's going to be made into a movie, and I've got some good partners I'm involved with. Right now, if you go on Facebook and you look up Chiro DiPaggio and The Mob King, The Mob King is one of the best mob movies I've seen in 20 years.
Really?
It's gonna be a huge hit. It's got all the guys from The Sopranos. It's got everything, and it's a great story. He's another brother. He did 20 years, real time, and he got out in 2016 and 2017, something like that. And right now he's driving, a Bentley, living in a high rise in Miami, making movies. So don't say you can't go to be a federal inmate and then not make it. He's making it, and he's bringing a bunch of brothers with him. So
it's funny you said his name because his manager and publicist I'm real good friends with, Diana Carter.
Yeah, she's the sweetest, hardest working. She's an ex Marine
veteran.
Man, I'm telling you, that girl puts it down. I've had a lot of managers and agents that call you when you get something. She gets it for you. She chases it and hunts it, kills it, and puts it on a plate. She don't play around, and she's the real deal. And that's his manager, and that's my manager, and that's why I think for 2022 I'm very hopeful.
Wow, see,
you got to get the right talent.
It's a small world, man. Like I actually interviewed Diana last year.
Did you?
On here. Yeah, I interviewed Diana. She's a vet like I am, and it's a lot of hardworking vets in the industry right now, and it's a lot of hardworking guys that've been locked up that are in the industry. It goes hand in hand. Those life experiences mean a lot when you're doing stuff like the entertainment music industry as well. So yeah, man. So I know I read something about you were facing 60 years in prison.
That was
so what
rough.
happened with that?
A lot of people, cops will immediately say you ratted on somebody, but the fact of the matter is I got caught with a certain amount of drugs, and I had millions of dollars worth of drugs. And they did an illegal search and seizure. In the police statement, they said I went down Hamlin or another street, and I made a right turn on red, and then they pulled me over for it, and they found the drugs. Well, that street has no red light; it has a stop sign. And when the state's attorney saw that they did that, they knew it was an illegal search. And like I said, by the grace of God, I got out. But they'll always flip it and say you tricked and you did this and that. And there was other things involved that were going on. So they'll use the gang against you. It's a cat and mouse game. I don't blame cops for being hard because it's hard, man. Half the people they arrest, they get away. If they're trying to put the drugs down, then they got to do it, and I get it. Chicago PD is a TV show. A guy named Brian Lucci on it is a friend of mine that I knew back in the day. This dude's literally a gangster. I mean, he grew up in the Italian American Club. He knew all the boys I knew. The difference between them, the gangsters and the drug dealers, is this. And that's it. So I don't blame people. You make a choice to do bad things and wrong things. If you get caught, you go to jail, and So I left after that.
Right. So how did you get like going into acting? How did you get the role for Backdraft, man? That movie, that's an amazing movie, man.
Yeah, all right. So there was a guy in the movie Backdraft named Kevin Casey. I was a Chicago fireman. I would get detailed at his house. He was a big old Irish boy, good looking, model, built, and he was one of the big heroes in the movie Backdraft, a SAG actor. And he's like, Ace, why don't you come down and do the film for $100 a day? And I was like, $100, I can make 200 on the side job. I'm not doing it.
Right.
And then he said, well, they'll pay you $350 for your boot, coat, and helmet. There's all the food you can eat, and there's women everywhere. And I'm going, okay.
Bingo. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. And so that was the start. And then I did Mo Money after that with him.
You did Mo Money?
Oh, dude, the Wayans brothers are crazy. I didn't even know about Marlon Wayans. And I'm sitting at the table with him, and everybody's laughing, and I'm like, dude, you're like the funniest guy I've ever met. You should be a comedian. And they all looked at me like I'm an idiot, and I was.
Right, like he is a comedian already. Wow.
It was a great experience, and after that second time, it was over. That's all I wanted to do. And the Wayans brothers were. I know some of their family. They're incredibly talented. They did the right thing at the right time. And they're making movies that some of them make a difference. So they've changed directions. They're not so much Hollywood anymore. They're a little more faith-based. So dudes are doing it right,
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, once you get the itch, then this is just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. So, did you have you stayed in Chicago this whole time while you're doing these different roles, or you kind of go wherever it's, the role takes you?
Well, I currently I live in Louisville, and I go back to visit. I got a house in Chicago, and I was glad to get out of Chicago. I caught some indictments, and we have a film called Bluegrass Run. It's kind of a story based loosely on what's happened to us, me and my wife, and in our life. I'm not going to say who told me about these federal indictments, but they said I had to get out of town, and this is separate from the other case.
Okay.
And so I got out of town and tried to make a better life somewhere else. It was by accident, but it happened. So when I do get acting jobs, it's Atlanta, it's Chicago, some stuff locally. Every once in a while, something in LA. LA is pretty much dead.
Really?
All the calls come from LA, and it's good to have a manager in LA. So that's like the headquarters. But really, New York, Florida's booming, man. Everybody's doing stuff in Florida. But I really like Atlanta. Yeah. So I stay here and I travel and do what I got to do.
Right. So going into the Prison Break, role, what are the obstacles that you face trying to get these roles, and what separates you from the next man on getting these roles?
That's a good question. So I hate to keep coming off like a criminal, but I just did 4 days in county, and
okay.
And I was I did extra work for Mo Money and all this other stuff, and I had an extras agent, Darlene Hunt, who's a sweetheart, who started me in all this, and Darlene would call me up and tell me I got a job. So the day I got out, I'm home. I'm going in the fridge. I got my cat. I got a blanket. I'm happy to be home. I took a shower. I wake up in the morning, and it's her daughter, Rachel. But I didn't know her daughter. And she goes, "Yeah, this is extraordinary casting, and we've got a job for you at Joliet State Prison. It's a shower scene for a show called Prison Break." And I thought someone was messing with me, and I started swearing at her. And I hung up on her. So her mom called me back an hour later, and she goes, "If you don't want to do a shower scene, we can make you a lawyer." And so I came back in the first episode as a lawyer. But then, with the trouble that I was having, I needed some work. So I was there daily doing prison stuff. And then they bumped me from just being an extra to being Dominic Purcell's photo double, which was $60 an hour, 16 hours a day. Wow. 4 or 5 days a week. I was happy.
Yeah.
And then they finally gave me a little bit role as a SAG player and the last 2 episodes, which was really sweet of them. So it was a great show. My theory behind it is Prison Break. They broke out of prison. Show's over.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They figured we're going to go to Thailand and we're going to go to Texas and break out. And so they had problems.
Yeah.
But it was a great show.
Yeah, that was, man. It really was. I watched that show for a couple years. It was really good. Like, so when working with actors, and that wasn't HBO over that show. That was an HBO show, or was that a Fox show? I'm not for sure. But when you meet these people, like, how have you prevented yourself from becoming starstruck, or not really paying attention to what they want you to do, but being more like in the moment?
I've always been unimpressed with. I'm impressed with what people do and the way they act. But I grew up with
Hmm.
gangsters. I mean, literally
Right.
legendary guys that they make movies about, and it didn't really bother me. But there were certain people that you see, like De Niro or
Hmm.
Dustin Hoffman, or guys that you kind of just freak out about. But I really
Yeah.
uh, I don't get starstruck. I do want to talk to them. I
Hmm.
want to pick their brains, and and hang out. And these people are extremely cool and talented. And
Hmm.
you know, I did a stint in Empire. One of my boys was more extra work and stuff, but one of
Hmm.
my boys was the sound designer for the whole show. And
Okay.
so all the
Okay.
studio stuff you see, all the other stuff, it was a really cool show.
Hmm.
Um, some incredibly talented people like Taraji.
Yeah.
I got to meet her and talk to her for a while. I also had, God, what was the movie? Uh, there's a link in my IMDb that shows a video that I did for one of her films. I want to say Foxy Brown, but that's like real
Right.
old.
Uh, Pan, I know which one you
Proud
talking
Mary.
about. Yeah, yeah. Proud
Proud Mary.
Mary.
Yeah.
Proud Mary. Yep.
So
Uh-huh.
there's a Russian in the show, and she shoots him in the head, and
Hmm.
they share a scene together. So I
Hmm.
auditioned for it. I got a call back, went to LA, and I didn't make it past that. But she remembered who I was, and I mean, that would have been one of the best roles. I loved studying Russian. I learned Russian. I
Hmm.
like to do accents. I like to do I'm working on my Scarface right now, little Cuban accent, because I'm half Cuban.
Oh,
So ain't
okay.
nobody gonna be mad at me. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, white boy trying to do Cubans, that's not right. So I mean, and I want to be able to, when I act, I want to be able to portray something that's different than me, that's cool, or
Hmm.
be myself.
Yeah.
I could play that street guy, I could play that regular guy, and get tough. My wife always says, just act. What would Ace do? Just
Right.
do what he would do, and that usually works. But I like, I'm starting to like to step into something completely different. Not too far. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm not that
Not
good.
too far out the realm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and there's a lot of actors that are like that. They're characters. They're not, like Kevin Spacey's a great actor. Robin
Hmm.
Williams, great actor. A lot of these guys can stretch and they become somebody else.
Hmm.
Gary Oldman, I respect these guys. I don't think in my life that I'll ever be like that, but it's something to
Hmm.
shoot for. But guys like De Niro and Al Pacino and stuff, they're talented too. And
Yeah.
gangsters have gone away and they're coming back. You
Which
watch.
is sad, yeah, because I grew up on gangster movies,
Yeah.
I grew up around a whole bunch of convicts, so, and was raised by them, so I was always more interested into gangster movies, prison movies, and documentaries. Um,
Yeah.
so one of the, like, what has been the hardest challenge or role that you've come across thus far in your career?
Ooh. Uh, I don't know. They're all difficult. So like the year of COVID, or year before COVID, I had gotten to the point where my managers were pumping me full of SAG auditions. I had an
Hmm.
offer of 100 auditions. I accepted
Wow.
to do videos of 80 of them in one year.
Hmm.
I got callbacks on 20 of them, and I only got 2 roles. And so I went
Mm.
and asked one of my agents. I said, "What am I doing wrong?" And she says, "I don't know, but they accept you, they like you, but then they don't take you."
Yeah.
Uh, so she said, "Why don't you get a theater coach?" And so I got my good buddy John Lee Cope, who is
Mhm.
Stella Adler coach. And
Okay.
so your question was, what is the hardest thing that I've done? Long Day's Journey into Night with John is one of the most classic American plays ever. It's like 100 and something pages of dialogue, and I slowly started stepping into it, and I realized that theater, it's just incredibly different and incredibly difficult and incredibly rewarding. And I get why really good actors want to do it. I don't know that I'm built for it, but I'm sticking my toe in and doing that. He seems impressed with me. He thinks I have a lot of talent, but they all yell at me and say I don't do the work. I do the work. You got to show me the pie. Right. I'm that kind of guy. You got to show me something at the end. It's not like do the work and then maybe we'll give you something.
Right. Show me the money. See, you got that gangster mentality. Show me the money.
Yeah, well, I think it's a street thing. You know, it's like, give me the money, I'll give you the dope. No, you give me the dope, and I give you the money. My wife is going to be so proud of me. You know?
Except my wife is so.
But yeah, I mean, I want to do bigger, satisfying things. Most of the stuff that I get is pretty much who I am. I just did a movie called Blood and Creed. It was a Sir Lancelot, 20 years older. And so he's challenging a new queen, a new king, and a new kingdom. And his rival has a supernatural, godlike protector. I'm an enforcer. What a stretch! And so I'm Sir Archon, and I battle all these guys with full body armor. We did this for 5 days. 30 guys with their own body armor that literally fight. They fight each other all the time in competition. They beat each other up. I am so excited about that, but I'm too old to do it. But my uniform was a leather vest with chain stuff, little tights, and some elf shoes. Everybody else had armor and 7-foot swords, and I had a little pickaxe. And so, I guess he said I was immortal, so I did the best I could. But that was cool. These guys they're my heroes, man. They're just so bad. And there was a girl. She's like 5'2", 5'4", maybe. She was beating the crap out of everybody. I really Julie. She was amazing. And that's what's cool about acting is you get to get in a lot of different circumstances. You see things you would never see and meet people. People have a lot of questions for my gangsterness, the things that happen. So a lot of times it goes off topic. I'm not acting, but Churro and I and some other guys call it gangster act. It's like gangster rap, but we're gangsters acting. And we did this with a place called Suspect Entertainment probably 15 years ago. Danny Trejo. Man, there was a lot of Robert Mitchum was a gangster. It's not a new thing, but gangsters are best to portray gangsters because they bring it. I'm in love with the idea, and I think that we could make something of it. And Diana and Churro, it's like they're starting a label, and they're going to sign me or bring me on, and I'm going to bring them stuff. I'll be like 50 was when he came on, or the Game when he came on. They took him on. Even Eminem, they brought them all under the label, and then sometimes they got bigger, and sometimes they didn't. But that's what film should be doing. Gangster Act's one of the coolest things I've seen. So, and there's going to be a lot of good ones, man. They got a movie called Silent Partners. Unbelievable. I mean, the best. I saw The Irishman. And I'm not going to knock De Niro and the whole thing, but the graphics and the 3-hour story.
Yeah, it was long.
It was not. It was. I would watch it, but it wasn't good. And I'm probably going to get called out by all these.
As I say, you already got me in trouble already. So
I have an opinion. I'm sorry,
right. Nah, you good. But no, I get it. And with the gangster acting that you're saying, it's really not acting because I mean, you've lived it. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it. So it's a lot easier to do something that you've already had experience with. Let me
ask you a question. What's your favorite gangster movie?
A Bronx Tale.
Oh,
That's like my favorite movie of all time.
Bingo, man. I agree because it was a narrative. It was a true story. Little C. I talked
Yep.
to Lilo, who's Colugio. I talk to him
Really?
online all the time. We made him a movie offer. He's a great guy. But that movie, Chaz Palminteri wrote his own stuff like Rocky. Good stuff, dude. You have incredible taste. That's well, we have similar taste.
Yeah, but I like that.
Don't get me wrong. I liked Goodfellas and The Godfather and all that. But this is a narrative movie. It's a real story. It's not just people getting killed. And the best part about it is that it has a good intention. There's a justice there that tells you don't be the gangster. And I like that. I'm sorry. We did enough with gangster rap and everything else. We did enough. It's like when Tupac finally realized that, and I might get in trouble for this, but that people on the top wanted him to keep promoting violence, and he started coming out with Brenda's Baby and all these other things, and then they wanted to silence him. You should be promoting peace. Every story doesn't have to have a lot of guns.
They don't.
I mean, a little bit of violence is, sexy. What are you gonna do? You're gonna see violence, and you go to it. It's like seeing sex. So, but the idea is that don't make it so blatant. Don't overdose on it.
Right, like right in your face.
Was the perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
So, good one, man.
Well, and then also, as you know, because you grew up in Chicago, where it's a lot of gangsters, a lot of the times you don't see what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Because they make sure that it's kept away, but it's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that movie portrayed a lot because Lil C didn't see a lot at first. You know what I'm saying? But as he got older, he started to see more. And
it's like like a Masonic rite too. They initiate you and they bring you in. Any good organization has levels, and you're gonna go through those levels to get there. The thing about it is, the best times I've had in my life are with gangsters. Gangsters don't give a crap. They don't care about anything. And the thing about gangsters is, if they want something, they're going to tell you and they're going to take it. They're not going to play around with you, and they don't lie. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to tell you everything. They don't lie. They'll just tell you straight up. And you can have a heck of a lot of fun, or you can, kind of crap your pants a little bit because you're in a room with a bunch of guys like that are, it's scary. It's scary. But and they bring you in, and it's just like I tried to get out, they pulled me back in. It's romantic. That lifestyle is romantic. It's going to make a big comeback. I have theories on why they promoted it, why it went away, and why it's coming back, politically, with things. Put it this way. Scarface made more Cuban kids drug dealers than anything. It promoted cocaine. Scarface was a great movie.
Absolutely.
But everybody in my neighborhood wanted to be that guy with a tiger. You're a tiger. You're a tiger.
Right.
Yeah, it's stupid that we're so easily led into stuff with film. And the propaganda involved there is, I think that Scarface did a lot of damage. On the other note, Carlito's Way was him trying to make up for it.
Right.
And that was another one, like Bronx Tale. He's like, don't be a gangster. You're not a gangster.
Right.
So, you got to be careful about what you promote. And if someone asked me to do a film like that, of course I'd do it.
Yeah, because you lived it, eh?
Of course I
lived
do it.
Yeah.
And ruin all of society.
Right, back all over again. The cycle, revolves. That's all it does, man. So before we get you off here, any words of advice to an up and coming actor, filmmaker, stuntman, producer? What type of words of advice would you give them?
All right. Well, a lot of times people tell me I help people and do stuff. You got to find somebody that is willing to give you the right way to get there. In Hollywood, there's a system. There's a lot of independent films and people go out and make 3 zombie movies and they'll do this and that. But I grew up in Chicago. My first film was $50 million. There are casting agents. When you get on set, there's prop people, there's wardrobe people, there's all these things in place. If you want to become a real actor, the independent way is a long, difficult road, but at least you get to act. But if you if you go out and make your reel, get headshots, do interviews, hang around with people that have knowledge, and slowly start showing up to do stuff. I'm not saying don't do independent film and don't do free stuff. I did a lot of free stuff, but don't keep doing it forever. You gotta at some point say, I am no longer an extra. I am only going to the casting agent. And you got to make friends with these casting agents, because this is it's a hierarchy. I went into Claire Simon, and I love her. She's the biggest casting agent in Chicago. She does all the Chicago PD shows. She did Empire and everything else. When I first went there, I had my headshot and I had my resume stapled to it. And it was a little bit bigger than the headshot. I mean, not even a quarter inch. And the girl that came up, and she showed her the headshot, and she just threw it away. She just in front of my face. I was like, "What?" She says, "It's not the right size. Come back when you can do it right." And I was like, you don't talk to me. I pushed it down. Yeah, I was like, but you gotta get into this system, and you have to follow it. And when I did the 80 auditions, I told my acting coach, I said I did 80 auditions. I feel like I'm not gonna make it. He was at Stella Adler with Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. He was there with him. He won an Oscar. He told me he had 600 auditions before he got a role. And I was like, all right, you win. Yeah. So follow the guidelines, meet people, do things, do favors, do the social media. The other thing is, don't get too full of yourself. But as actors, it's your job to promote yourself. It's your job to be, look at me. I find it difficult sometimes. I'll see my videos and want to throw up. It's your job to get out there and do that. And if you don't want to do it, then don't act. Right. And hang around with guys like you, musicians, other people. Go hang around with models. Go to parties. Get known. Tell jokes. Buy a few drinks. Sleep with a few women. Not me. I'm married.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta make those contacts.
Right. You have to. Yeah. It's the business. It's like you said. Once you learn the business, you know the business. So it's all about evolving. Well, yeah, man. Hey, we really appreciate. Oh, yeah. And by the way, where can the viewers find you at on social media if they, want to reach out, or if they were looking for a new project or anything like that?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm Charlie Wagner. On Instagram, I'm Charlie Wagner 58. And feel free to reach out to me. I love to give advice. I love to help people. And it's my theory that, I get you in, and 10 years later, when you're a big star, you can put me in the background in one of your big movies. There's no reason why that couldn't happen. And it's already happened for me. So I'm more than happy to, steer people in the right direction.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for, allowing us to, this was a valuable interview, man. I really appreciate it. And, keep me in touch with all what you got going on, man. I love the gangster movies, and, and I'm always here to support. Of course. All day long. Diana knows. She already know I want to act.
Are you in Kansas City?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So I'm going to make this brief. I'm pitching a show that I call Iron Cowboys that I pitched to the networks a year ago. They're all the crazy bikers from Kansas City.
Really?
All the guys that do the wheelies. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
like
I know you're talking about.
I know all these guys. And there's a new streaming app. It's called Tough TV. And they're looking at buying one of our projects. I come down there. I'm putting you on it. And I'm also going to see if you can ride a motorcycle.
Hey, now that part, that might be a little different. You might see me dragging behind the motorcycle. But
I'll be right behind you. I'll be the guy falling off.
Right, but hey, man. Most definitely. You come down, man. Hey, we most definitely will network, and I will be there. But
all right, we'll go out and have a drink, too.
Absolutely, man. So, yeah, thanks again for the interview.
Thanks for
the viewers. Absolutely. For the viewers that tuned in, we really appreciate it. This has been part of our entertainment week. Tomorrow night, we have Katrina Kuza. She's another actress. She's an author. But we're going to keep it moving all the way into the end of the year, y'all. So once again, we want to thank Chuck Wagner for giving us his time. And we want to thank you viewers for tuning in. Until next time, we are out. Peace.
Thanks, man.